Shalom, brothers and sisters, all praise to the Most High, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in the name of his only begotten Son, the Holy Messiah, the King of Israel. Today we're doing a lesson called the Letters of Paul. Paul's letters have been massacred by the ignorant. They actually have created a doctrine based off this man's letters, and they call it the Pauline doctrine. And Pauline is not even mentioned in the scriptures nowhere. So what has happened is they've taken this man named Paul and created a whole religion based off his writings. You know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do is put the brother on trial. Either he's the biggest double-talking sellout Israelite agent there is in the scriptures who was responsible for writing 14 books of the New Testament, or he is largely misunderstood by the masses. One or the other. Either he's either it's all contradiction, or we just don't understand what he's saying. So we're here to put the brother on trial and hopefully clear up a few misconceptions about his writings. You know, Paul was a very complex brother. He was a Pharisee. He was a scholar in these scriptures. So for you to even try to read his writings or approach his writings with the mindset of a pagan, you off anyway. Because Paul never was a pagan. Like, how are y'all using his writings to justify paganism when he taught against idolatry, which is spiritual whoredom? He taught against that. He did. He also taught men not to steal. He kept the Sabbath day. He taught the resurrection of Christ. You know, he taught the commandments. No effeminate would get into the kingdom, multiple things. So we're going to get into it. We're going to start out with 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 15 through 16. And see what Peter, one of the right-hand men of the Messiah himself, went on record about Paul. What did he say about Paul? Let's get it done.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 15.
Yeah.
And account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also, according to the wisdom given unto him, had written unto you.
This is Peter going on record for Paul. All right, come on, brother.
Verse 16.
Yeah.
As also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood.
So Peter goes on record and says some of Paul's writings, they're hard to be understood. But there is something else that follows behind that. All right, come on, brother.
Which they that are unlearned.
They that are what?
Are unlearned.
They that are unlearned, come on.
And unstable, rest.
Rest means twist. So those that are unlearned and unstable in the scriptures, they twist Paul's writings. All right, come on, brother.
As they do also the other scriptures.
Come on.
Unto their own destruction.
But the only other scriptures at the time when Peter was writing this letter, what you know was the 1st and 2nd Peter, was the Old Testament. So what Peter is giving, the understanding that's coming through these scriptures right here, is saying that if you are unlearned in the Old Testament, which was the established scriptures of the time when Peter was writing this, that guess what? You are guilty of, and then trying to pick up Paul's writings and justify your paganism, you are guilty of twisting his writings. You see that? It says those that are unlearned and unstable, they wrest or they twist Paul's writings to their own destruction because they're unlearned in the other scriptures as well. That's what it comes down to. Keep it like on 20 minutes, 20 minutes. Grab Acts. We're going to the next, Acts 24. So Peter goes on record for Paul and says Paul's writings are hard to be understood to them that are unlearned and unstable in the scriptures. They twist Paul's writings until their own destruction. And we see that happening today. We see that happening. People use Paul's writings to justify all kind of wickedness in the church. And Paul ain't even saying that. All right, Acts 24, verse 14 and 15. This brother was brought before the council. What's his own words? Are we as a society repeating things we hear about Paul and the Bible, or are we going to research the matter ourselves? See, that's the problem. We become parrots in this thing. We just repeat whatever we're hearing. Nobody researches anymore. Nobody. Let's get to Acts 24.
Acts 24 and verse 14.
Yes, sir.
But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy,
right,
so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets.
Paul said the way in which they call heresy, which means a damnable lie. And after the way in which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing everything written in the law and the prophets. Everything written in the law and the prophets. Brothers and sisters, that's the whole Old Testament. So how does the preacher tell you today the Old Testament done away with, but Paul, who y'all love to go run to, says he believes everything written in the law and the prophets. He believes the whole Old Testament, but it's not good for us today. Come on, man, it's nonsense. All right, come on, brother.
Verse 15.
Yeah.
And have hope towards God.
Uh-huh.